Masalahnya anak-anak nggak ada yang hafal lagunya ya.
Ya enggak, itunya aja, bikin videonya, itunya punya lagunya.
Lagunya. Tadi itu aja cuma kelilipan yang apa namanya.
Kamu WA Bang itu sih. Yang
Please mute your
Apa sulit?
devices. We're live on YouTube and we're ready to start. I want to say greetings to everyone, our members, our friends, our beautiful interpreters, everyone associated with the World Forum of Fisher Peoples. Welcome. I want to welcome you to our annual International Women's Day gathering. It is such a pleasure to gather with you as part of our global family. You know what? The WFFP Women's Assembly, it continues to be one of the most vibrant and active spaces within our movement. So we want to congratulate the Women's Assembly. Every year, we proudly celebrate International Women's Day, which is globally celebrated on the 8th of March. And recently, we have also started to celebrate Fisher Women's Day on 5th November, sorry, 5th November. And this is a tradition that we will keep up within the WFFP. This year, we are meeting under the theme Fisher Women Lead. Over the past year or two, the WFFP women have carried out numerous activities. They have organized meetings, strengthened alliances, and advancing their action plan. Particularly important milestone was last year. The Women Assembly met in Thailand. And what they did there was to strengthen and consolidate the action plan that they began at the General Assembly in Brazil. So I want to thank you all for being here with us. I want to say, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy all the stories and the reflections that will come from our members and will be shared here on this call. Once again, welcome everyone. I will now call on Christiana to give a Mystica, and then Jesu will take over for this section. Christiana, please.
Christiana, you are on mute. We can't hear anything.
I'm sorry. I'm saying that today I'm here with my colleagues, those that I work with, and we are going to do the Mystica together. The Mystica, in El Molo community, there is a bird called Sarma. This Sarma, when it is time for, they guide the fishermen where to go, because when they flock in a certain direction, they know that that's where they are going to get more fish. So Sarma is a very important bird in my community. So we are going to sing the song of this bird that directs us and gives us direction while fishing.
Sarma sama korole. Sarma sama korole. Sarma sama korole.
Thank you very much. Nadine, you can take over.
Beautiful. Thank you, Treasurer Christiana from Kenya, and your beautiful set of singers and backup. Wonderful. So now, Jesso, please take over.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, thank you. Here. Now we are in a world where everyone is facing the threats of war and how it affects. I'm here to share a few words. War is not only about bombing and destroying nations. We as women, mothers, workers, girls, children, wives, partners, and homemakers experience the consequence of socio-cultural, structural male hegemony war on a daily basis across the globe. As fisher peoples, our way of life, livelihoods, territories, and cultural identities are being subjected to degradation and destruction for the benefit and profit accumulation of imperialistic nations. Now, this exploitation has now escalated to the point where they are transforming to capture fisheries into culture fisheries, that is industrial aquaculture, causing the dispossession and displacement of our lives and livelihoods from our ancestral homelands. Furthermore, this war against us is not new. It's ongoing, extending, and expanding according to the demands of the capitalist growth. We as fisherwomen are born resilient. We rise to overcome the challenges imposed by rentier states. We are born warriors and custodians committed to securing our coasts, oceans, and fisheries for future generations and for the sustainability of the Mother Earth. Most bureaucrats, policymakers, elite thinkers, and politicians have assumed that poor fisherwomen know only how to scale fish and cook delicious meals. But through our International Fisherwomen's Day 2025 and 5 weeks campaign, we proved them wrong. You are wrong, and we are right. We clenched the scales of capitalistic fisheries production discourses and united as fisher peoples, from rivers to oceans, soil to sea, and seabirds to shores, and loudly declared we have collectivized the and to lead decision-making processes and to self-determine the sovereignty of fisher peoples as a whole. The roar of the sea, the smell of fish, the breeze of rivers from the shores, and the souls of fisher comrades will assert our sovereignty over territories. The fundamental and inherent political birthright of the fisher people. So we are here for the International Fisherwomen's Day, and we have proved that we will be visible. You cannot invisibilize us, and you cannot subdue us or undermine us. So we are here as a collective to have the International Women's Day celebration today, to tell the world that we are here and we will be here for future also. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Jessil, for that powerful start to this celebration and this gathering. Thank you. So we are going to move on with our first speaker, Shalmali from Focus on the Global South. We want to welcome you and ask you if you can now join and speak.
Hello, Nadine. Can you hear me? Can you
Yes,
see me?
nice background, hearing and seeing.
Yes. This is a beautiful river in Laos, but I don't think the river looks like this anymore because there is a very large dam on that river now. So that is the situation. Ooh, okay. All right. Am I? So you can hear me, okay?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I will start. So, good evening, everyone. I send solidarity greetings to our sisters in the fisherfolk movement and to women everywhere who, through their knowledge, ingenuity, skills, and labor, ensure the survival, safety, and well-being of families, their families, and societies. I send special greetings of support and strength to women facing war, occupation, and all forms of violence and colonial oppression across the world, for who daily life still brings horrors that many of us find hard to even imagine. Now, this is another International Women's Day. We say that many of us in the movement say that every day is a Women's Day, really, because of the huge amount of work that women do and their contribution to making life even possible. But it is indeed a very sad state of affairs that we have yet another International Day of Women, where women all over the world continue to face the violence and the horrors of war and occupation and exclusion and racism. Now, I was asked to say a few words, on the issue of food systems, so let me move to that. Now, the central and multiple roles of women in food systems and the numerous kinds of economic, social, and political discrimination that women face, these are widely acknowledged by policy and decision makers. What is not acknowledged, however, or even what is not sufficiently interrogated, are the symbiotic relationships between patriarchy, coloniality, capitalism, and neoliberalism, and the kind of racialized, gendered inequality and exploitation that they result in and that they maintain. According to many studies by various experts and researchers all over the world, and also by the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, women produce between 60 and 80% of the food in most developing countries. Women are essential for day-to-day family subsistence. They are responsible for half of the world's food production, but at the same time, they face much greater difficulties and more barriers than men in access to land, credit, input, services, and decision making. Now, when we look at the issue of fisheries, small-scale fisheries particularly, small-scale fisheries, both marine and inland, contribute more than 40% of global fisheries catch, employ 90% of the people engaged in global capture fisheries, and they are responsible, at least in part, for the livelihoods of about 500 million people all over the world. Small-scale fisheries make very significant contributions to local, regional economies, nutrition, and biodiversity, and ecosystem protection and regeneration. Now, labor, work, and recognition and compensation of work in food systems are gendered by women and men. In many places.
Buenos días, soy Sara Chemel de la Parroquia Bolívar de Concheras.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm hearing the interpreter. Hello? I'm hearing the interpreter. I'll repeat that again. So labor, work, recognition, and compensation of work in food systems are gendered. In many places, women are not even recognized as farmers, fishers, herders, nor are they able to assume leadership roles to fight for the agency that is their right. As workers in agriculture and fisheries, they've had to fight exploitative capitalist structures as well as patriarchal blindness for the most basic rights, whether it's the right to use a clean and safe bathroom, to get clean water, to have safe working conditions, and freedom from gender-based harassment. Now, across the world's food systems, women undertake a huge variety of tasks that ensure the availability of food today and in the future. Women are seed savers and holders of traditional knowledge about biodiversity and ecosystems on land, forests, and water. Women constitute almost 50% of the work in small-scale fisheries, and they're engaged in numerous tasks from pre to post-harvesting, commercial harvesting, and maintaining necessary equipment. Women have the primary responsibilities to transform raw produce to food for consumption in our families, in their families, sale in markets, and bartering among communities. Women play vital roles in local food processing and in marketing and distribution in their own areas and in broader regions. Women work as labor in fields, farms, plantation, boats, and processing plants owned by others. Now, in addition to the work, this kind of work that is termed as productive, women are responsible for social reproduction. That is the maintenance of social conditions that enable productive work. This includes domestic and household work, which is cooking, feeding, cleaning, fetching fuel and water, maintaining things in the household. This includes the care of their families, especially the care of children, the elderly, and those that are sick. Social reproduction is also often called care work, and ecofeminists have pointed out that this is actually production of life work, since this work enables not only production in a factory or a workplace, but that can be measured and quantified in GDP or other figures, but equally, this is preservation of the conditions of life at home, in communities, and in nature. And it is interesting to note that, in recent decades, we have seen the concept of care work expand outside the home into a very lucrative economy. But the very work that women do in their homes and communities, for which they get no material compensation, when this work is brought into the logic of a marketplace, it reproduces the same kinds of discrimination and inequality that are the DNA of patriarchy and capitalism. And these include public health, childcare, and elderly care services that are being privatized, and other social goods and services that are being moved from the public to the private sphere, privatized sphere rather, and into marketplaces again. So those who have money will be able to access these services. Those who cannot pay will not. And again, the division of labor in this sort of new marketized care economy, the division of labor is gendered, racialized, and by class. Now, neither women's work nor the discrimination and exploitation they face are invisible. They are obvious for everyone to see, but they are made invisible by a knowledge and policy system that is born of and embedded in discriminatory systems. Now, a big challenge we face as women, as activists, as those fellow travelers who want a just, fair, equal, non-racial, or a decolonized world, is a big challenge we face in dismantling such discrimination, exclusion, and oppression systematically and structurally, is being able to make this kind of discrimination and exploitation legible and visible.
Primary, I'm really sorry to disturb, but there's a request for you to please go slower
Sorry.
for the interpreters.
Okay,
Thank
sorry,
you.
I was trying to keep in the time. Yeah, I'll start then. So a big challenge that we face in dismantling such discrimination, exclusion, and oppression systematically and structurally is being able to make them legible in the public policy sphere, where real transformation can happen. And when I say public policy sphere, I don't mean only in the hands of the governments, but in the hands of the public, in the hands of people. But neither women's work nor the discrimination and exploitation they face are invisible. They're obvious for everyone to see, but they're made invisible by a knowledge and policy system that is born of and embedded in a discriminatory system that serves particular vested interests. So how do we move forward? Now, do we want to count and try to reframe the grassroots realities into neoliberal knowledge systems? But if we do that, we will be falling into the same trap that so many scholars and so many social movements and all of us fall into, because we want the attention of the policymakers, we want the attention of the public policy systems, national and international. But sometimes in trying to reframe grassroots reality and reframe the everyday reality of people, of our sisters, we forget that not all realities and not all conditions can be counted and expressed in those quantitative terms, and neither should they be, you know. Is there a middle ground, or is there a way that we can move our own radical movement scholarship forward? Can we challenge the knowledge that is being produced and recycled to maintain the patriarchal, capitalist, colonialist status quo? Can we change not only the knowledge that is being produced, but also the ways in which this knowledge is being produced? We can, and this is being done. And the fisher folk movement is doing it. The small scale food providers movements are doing it. The indigenous people have done it. The herders are doing it. Working class people are doing, women workers all over the world are doing it, you know. But for this, we need to change again. I'd say not only change the knowledge that is being produced, but also the ways in which the knowledge is being produced, and make our knowledge count. So for this, we need to build alliances, of course, with critical minded scholars and researchers who will embed themselves in the realities of the social movements, who will support grassroots movements of small scale food providers, who will recognize the reality of where food is coming from, where food will come from in the future. At the same time, we also need to build our own scholarship in movements, like we are doing now, like the fisher folk movement has been doing for years, and in all the manifestos, and claiming the rights to the ocean, claiming the ownership, and ownership not in a proprietorial sense, but in a collective sense of seas and waters and environment. No? And here again, what's very important is building alliances across working classes and people, the public. The public, the working classes, they need the small scale food providers. We need the small scale food providers, and the small scale food providers need the solidarity of the world. So I will stop here, and I wish again all our sisters in this world and sisters in the fisher folk movement a very happy, well, not happy, but a strong, solid movement in struggle, and a strong solidarity movement in struggle. And I commit from myself to be part of this struggle and to stay with all of you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Shalmali. That was awesome. And we are going to have facilitators for our next segment, which is on the regional voices of Asia. Nibras and Susan, are you here? Please take over this show for this segment relating to Asia.
Okay, thank you, Nadine. So good evening, everyone. Okay, hello everybody. So it's really an honor for me to moderate these sessions on the regional voices of the fishermen from the Asia as a part of these global conversations, celebrating the International Women's Days and the leaderships of the fishermen across the world. So I think it's already being mentioned also by Nadine across, I think also it's also being mentioned by Jesu and Samali that across the Asia, the coastals and small scale fishing communities depend deeply on the women's labors. women are not only the fishers in here, but also they are the processors, they are also the traders, they are the net makers, community organizers, and even the knowledge holders who sustains the local food systems and also the coastal economy. However, even though that they have these central roles in the fishery sectors, we often heard that they are being invisible in the fisheries sectors in the governance. They often excluded from the decision-making process. Even they are being unrecognized as the workers in the fisheries value chain. So what we see in these regions is not only the vulnerability of the fishermen, but also the powerful grassroots movements led by the fishermen who are defending their territories, livelihoods, and the collective rights. So before inviting our speakers, I would like to emphasize that this purpose of this session is not only to listen the individual stories of the fishermen, but also recognize the common patterns that often being faced by the fishermen, the common patterns of the struggles and the resistance across the region. So I also want to remind all the speakers in here in these sessions that each speakers only have 4 until 5 minutes. So please be wise with the time. So I think I will begin with our first speakers from the Thailand, Daung Rat Kun Art. Sorry if I pronounce wrongly, but I want to welcome Daung Rat Kun Art for our first speakers in these sessions.
Hi, neighbors. I'm sorry, just a minute. I just wanted to remind all speakers to please speak slowly so we can get your message through interpretation. Okay, and if you see me do this sign, it means to go to slow down. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Kate.
Yeah, Thai speaker can't log in. I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. So I think maybe we can move for the next speakers while waiting for the Thailand speakers. Maybe I will invite, maybe I will invite first Suba from Sri Lanka to talk in this session first. Hello, Suba. Is there Suba in here?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. Okay, the time is yours, Suba.
Thank you. I am going to speak in Sinhala, more comfortable for me. සියලු දෙනාගෙන්ම අවසරයි. ඒ වගේම ජාත්‍යන්තර කාන්තා දිනයක් කියලා ඔබ සියලු දෙනාටම ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. විශේෂයෙන්ම අද දවසේ මට පැවරිලා තියෙන්නේ අපි ගිය වසරේ තායිලන්තේ පවත්වපු ගෝලීය කාන්තා සමුළුව පිළිබඳව කෙටි අදහස් උවමාරුවක් ඉදිරිපත් කරන්නයි. විශේෂයෙන්ම ගෝලීය කාන්තා සමුළුව රටවල් ගණනාවක කාන්තා නායිකාවන්ගේ සහභාගීත්වයෙන් තායිලන්තයේ හට්යායි නගරයේදී 2025 අගෝස්තු 13 සිට 16 දක්වා වූ දිනවලදී දියත් වුණා. මෙහිදී මේක ඉතාමත් අතිශය වැදගත් වුණා අපිට. ඒකට හේතුව තමයි 2017 දී ඔබ සියලු දෙනාම දන්නා පරිදි නවදිල්ලි නුවරදී ගොඩනගපු කාන්තා සභාවට ප්‍රථම වතාවට මෙසේ එක්ව ඒ රටවල් වල ඇති කාන්තා ප්‍රශ්න කාන්තාවන් මුහුණ දෙන ගැටලු ඒවලට හේතු වෙලා තියෙන කාරණා මොනවාද ඒවලට අපි කොහොමද විසඳුම් සොයන්නේ ඒකේ දිශානතින් මොනවද ක්‍රම වෙනසකට අපි කොහොමද මැදිහත් වෙන්නේ මේ වගේ කරුණු ගණනාවක් ඔස්සේ අපි ඒ සාකච්ඡාව තුළදී කතා කළා විතරක් නෙමෙයි ඒ තියෙන අත්දැකීම් පළාත් අනුව ඒ වගේම රටවල් අනුව අපිට තියෙන අත්දැකීම් අපි වමාරු කරගත්තා. ඒක ඉතාමත් තීරණාත්මක තලයකදී අපි සාකච්ඡා කළා. ඉතින් මෙය තීරණාත්මක රැස්වීමක් වෙන්නේ කාන්තාවන්ගේ ප්‍රශ්න පිළිබඳව ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙන කාන්තා ක්‍රියාකාරී කමිටුව ගොඩනගා දියත් කිරීමේ මෙහි ප්‍රථම වතාවට සිදුවෙච්ච සුවිශේෂී අවස්ථාවක් වූ නිසා. ඒ වගේම මෙම ගෝලීය අමුවේදී අපිට ඇකි වුණා විශේෂයෙන්ම තායිලන්ත හත්යායවල කාන්තාවන්ගේ ශක්තිය ඔවුන් අරගලයන් වලට මුහුණ දෙන කාරණාව පිළිබඳව ඒ වගේම ඔවුන්ගේ මුදු සීමාව විදේශ දීවර යාත්‍රාවලට එරෙහිව සාමූහිකව ඔවුන් ගන්න ක්‍රියාකාරකම් ඒ වගේම දේශීය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන හිතකර ආම්පන්නවලට එරෙහිව කාන්තාවන් කොහොමද විරෝධතාවයන් ගොඩනගන්නේ ඔවුන්ගේ සාමූහික ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය කොහොමද තිබ්බේ මේ වගේ ක්ෂේත්‍ර චාරිකා තුලත් අපිට ඔවුන්ගේ දැවැන්ත කාන්තා දායකත්වයක් ලබා ගැනීමට සහ ඔවුන්ගේ සාමූහික කාන්තා ක්‍රියාකාරීත්වය අපිට දැනගන්න ලැබුණා. ඒ වගේම මෙන් එයාට ගිහිල්ලා අපි මේ දින කීපය ඇතුළත ඒ කියන්නේ 13 සිට 16 දක්වා දියත් කරපු ඒ වැඩසටහන් තුලදී අපි ඉදිරි වැඩපිළිවෙළ ගණනාවක් සාකච්ඡා කළා. එතකොට ඒකේ ප්‍රතිඵලයක් ඇටියට අපි නවම්බර් මාසේ 5 වෙනිදා දීවර කාන්තාවන්ගේ ජාත්‍යන්තර දිනේ බවට ප්‍රකාශ කර ගැනීම සඳහා වන ක්‍රියාවලියේ නිරත වුණා. මට ලැබිලා තියෙන කාලේ විනාඩි 5යි. ඒක නිසා මට කාලේ කළමනාකරණය කරගන්නත් සිදු වෙන නිසා මම මේක ගැඹුරෙන් විග්‍රහ කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. නමුත් අපි දන්නවා දීවර ක්ෂේත්‍රය තුල ගෝලීය වශයෙන්ම ගන්නකොට 50ක දායකත්වයක් මාළු අල්ලන තැනේ ඉඳලා පසුවස්වනු ක්‍රියාවලියට දක්වන දායකත්වය තුල කාන්තාව දායකත්වය ලබා දුන්නත් ඒ කාන්තාවන්ට ඒ ලැබෙන පිළිගැනීම ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා අපි ජාත්‍යන්තර තලයේදී දීවර කාන්තාවන්ට මේ දිනය ලැබෙන්න ඕන කියන එක මත අපි ඒ දිනේ ප්‍රකාශයට පත් කළා විතරක් නෙමෙයි සති 5ක කැම්පේන් එකක් අපි දියත් කළා. එතකොට ඒ සියලුම දේ ඇවිල්ලා WFFP එකේ කාන්තා කමිටුව හරහා අපි ගොඩනගපු ජයග්‍රහණයන් ඒ වගේම නව දිශානතින් ඒ වගේම WFFP එකේ කෝඩිනේෂන් කමිටුව එක සඳහා කාන්තා නියෝජනයකට අපිට හැකියාව ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. මේ වගේ කාරණා ගොඩක් ඔස්සේ මේ මොහොතේ මම ඒ ක්‍රියාවලිය තුලට කාන්තාවන් දක්වපු දායකත්වය ඉතාමත් ප්‍රශංසනීය ඇටියට මේ කාන්තා දිනයේ දවසේදී මම මතු කරන්න කැමැති. WFFP එකේ විශේෂයෙන්ම කණු 4ක් තියෙනවා. ඒක එක කණුවක් ඇටියට එක පිළ එකක් ඇටියට අපේ මේ කාන්තාංශ ඉතාමත් ශක්තිමත්ව ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙනවා. එතකොට ගෝලීය කාන්තා සමුළුව තුල අපි ප්‍රශ්න ගණනාවක් සාකච්ඡා කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒකෙදි සම්පත් කොල්ලය, අමුදාකරණය, ඒ වගේම නීලාර්ථික වගේ ක්‍රියාවලින් තුල මොන වගේ බොරු ප්‍රකාශනද අපේ ඉඩම් අත්පත් කර ගැනීමට සිදු වෙන්නේ මේ වගේ කරුණු ගණනාවක් අපි කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම භූමි ප්‍රදේශවල තියෙන අයිතිවාසිකම්, සාගර, වෙරළබඩ, ඒ වලට කාන්තාවන්ගේ ප්‍රවේශයන් කොහොමද, මතිමතාන්තර සහ ඒ ප්‍රවේශයට මැදිහත් වීම තුළ කාන්තාවන්ට ඇතිවෙන කාරණාවන්, ස්වභාවික සම්පත් සඳහා තියෙන ප්‍රවේශය, ඒ වගේම අගේදාම ක්‍රියාවලිය තුළ කාන්තාවෝ මැදිහත් වෙන ආකාරය, එතකොට ඒ වගේ මාළු ඇල්ලීම, මාළු විකිණීම, මාළු සැකසීම, දැල් සෑදීම, මාළු වියලීම, උඹලකඩ මේ සැකසීම, වෙළඳපළ දක්වා ඒ ක්‍රියාවලියට කාන්තාව කොහොමද දායක වෙන්නේ, ඒ කාන්තාවට අවශ්‍ය ඒ අනන්‍යතාවය, ඒ පිළිගැනීම ලැබෙන්න ඕන කියන එක තමයි අපි එදිනා දවසේ කතා කළේ. මම හිතන්නේ මට ස්ක්‍රීන් එකේ පේනවා මගේ කාලේ අවසන්. ඉතින් මම සුබ පතනවා ජාත්‍යන්තර කාන්තා දිනේට මගේ සියලුම සහෝදරයන්ට සුබ කාන්තා දිනයක් පතන අතරම මම ආශිමාකට මේ මොහොතේ බාර දෙනවා අපේ ඒ ක්‍රියාවලියේ ඉදිරි ඒ සැලැස්ම ඉදිරිපත් කරන ලෙස. ස්තුතියි.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Suba, for sharing the fishermen movement in Sri Lanka. So I think for the speakers from the Thailand already came. So I think I want to welcome the speaker from the Thailand. Is it in here already? Kate?
สวัสดีค่ะ
Okay. Hello. Okay, the time is yours. You
Hello.
only have 5 minutes to talk. Thank you.
Thank you สวัสดีค่ะ ดิฉันดวงรัตน์ขุนอาจค่ะ ตัวแทนจากสตรีประมงพื้นบ้านภาคใต้ประเทศไทยนะคะ วันนี้ดิฉันมายืนที่นี่ เพื่อเป็นเสียงให้กับผู้หญิงที่หัวใจแกร่งดั่งมหาสมุทรสถานการณ์ของผู้หญิงประมงพื้นบ้านในปัจจุบัน เราไม่ได้เป็นแค่แม่บ้าน หรือคนหาปลา แต่เราคือหน้าด่านที่ต้องลุกขึ้นมาปกป้องทะเล หน้าบ้านจากการรุกรานของกลุ่มทุน ภาระของเราทับซ้อนและหนักอึ้งแต่เราถอยไม่ได้ เพราะการต่อสู้ของเราคือความอยู่รอดของครอบครัว คือความอุดมสมบูรณ์ที่จะส่งต่อถึงลูกหลาน และคือปากท้องของคนทั้งโลก เรายึดถือเสมอว่า ทะเลคือชีวิต และทะเลคือศักดิ์ศรีของเรา แต่ในขณะที่เราสู้ยิบตา ความจริงที่น่าใจหาย คือเรากำลังเผชิญกับการสูญเสียความหลากหลายทางชีวภาพอย่างรุนแรง ท้องทะเลที่เคยเป็นคลังอาหารอันมั่งคั่งกำลังถูกทำลายลง ด้วยน้ำมือของการพัฒนาที่ขาดความรับผิดชอบ และเมื่อทรัพยากรสูญสิ้น ผู้ที่รับแรงกระแทกหนักที่สุด ก็คือผู้หญิงอย่างพวกเราค่ะ ในการเข้าถึงสิทธิ์ และต้องเผชิญกับวิกฤตสภาพภูมิอากาศ ที่ซ้ำเติมความยากลำบากท่ามกลางเสียงของกลุ่มทุนที่ดังกว่าเสียงของคนหาเช้ากินค่ำและดิฉันรู้ดีว่า ความเจ็บปวดที่พี่น้องสตรีประมงไทยเผชิญอยู่นี้ ไม่แตกต่างจากสิ่งที่ผู้หญิงประมงทั่วโลกกำลังประสบอยู่เลย ไม่ว่าพวกคุณจะอยู่ซีกโลกไหน เรากำลังเผชิญกับคลื่นยักษ์ลูกเดียวกัน ทั้งการถูกแย่งชิงทรัพยากร การถูกกดทับทางสังคม และการล่มสลายของระบบนิเวศ ที่เป็นสายเลือดหลักของเรา ความทุกข์ของเราคือเรื่องเดียวกัน และความหวังของเราก็คือเรื่องเดียวกัน เราไม่ได้สู้เพียงลำพัง แต่เราคือเครือข่ายที่ถักทอด้วยศรัทธา จากชุมชนเล็กๆ สู่พลังการขับเคลื่อนระดับสากล ดิฉันจะร่วมกับเครือข่าย WFFP และพี่น้องสตรีทั่วโลก ล้อมรวมพลังเป็นหนึ่งเดียว เพื่อสนับสนุนการทำงานของกลุ่มประมงพื้นบ้านให้เข้มแข็ง เราต้องร่วมกันหยุดยั้งการทำลายทรัพยากร การลงทุนและการพัฒนาที่เอาเปรียบคนเล็กคนน้อย และทวงคืนพื้นที่ยืนในสังคมอย่างมีศักดิ์ศรี เราจะจับมือกันสร้างการเปลี่ยนแปลงให้โลกเห็นว่า หากไม่มีผู้หญิงประมง ทะเลและโลกใบนี้ก็อยู่ไม่ได้ มาเถอะค่ะ มาร่วมกันสร้างโลกที่อุดมสมบูรณ์ บนรากฐานของความเท่าเทียม เพื่อชัยชนะของพวกเราทุกคน สู้เพื่อทะเล สู้เพื่อศักดิ์ศรีสตรีประมงโลกค่ะ ขอบคุณค่ะ
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Yamatut. Okay, sorry if I pronounce wrongly for your name, but thank you for sharing the struggles and even the movement that you face in the Thailand. I think next I want to invite our newest member in the WFFP from Maldives. So this is Amina Safia. I want to welcome Amina Safia from Maldives to share the stories from the fishermen in Maldives. Okay, the times is yours, Amina.
Hello. Hello, everyone. You can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, go
Yes,
ahead.
yes, can.
Yeah. So I would like to express my experience in the third Nileni Global Forum. Being a part in here today in this meeting, I feel really honored and proud to share my voice as the only participant from the Maldives at the third Nileni Global Forum. Coming from a small island nation, being among representatives from a young women leader, what moved me the most was seeing so many women from around the world standing together. Women who work tirelessly of our labor in the fisheries value chains remain unseen and unrecognized. Yet it is the backbone of our families and livelihoods and food security. At the forum, we shared our stories, the struggles for recognition, dignity, and leadership in spaces where women's voices are often overlooked. But we also shared our strength because across continents and oceans, women are organizing, leading, and supporting one another. For island communities like mine, the climate crisis is not a distant threat. It is our daily reality. Rising seas, changing oceans, and uncertain fisheries affect our lives and our futures. Yet, even in the face of these challenges, women at the grassroots continue to organize, protect our resources, and defend our communities. This experience reminded me that we are not alone. Our voices, our struggles, our dreams are connected across the countries. When women stand together, our voices become a very powerful force for justice, recognition, and change. That is my experience, and I'm really proud to be a part of WFFP. Really proud. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amina, for sharing from your experience in Nyaleni. So I think I want to invite for our next speakers, actually from our for our last speakers in the sessions, Yasmin Alisa from the Pakistan. Hello, Yasmin. Okay, hello, Yasmin. Yeah. So the times is yours.
Today was my comrades, colleagues, and friends from around the world. My name is Yasmin Aisha from Pakistan. I am honored to join this important dialogue.
Yasmin, sorry to disturb you. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है. Please, little louder.
Okay.
Thank you.
My name is now okay. Can you hear me? Hello.
I think you have to speak louder, please, because we cannot hear you very well in here.
Now my voice is okay.
Louder, please.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Can you
Yasmin, can you speak into the mic?
Yes, Ashima. Can I talk like this? ऐसे बात कर सकती हूँ? जो अगर वीडियो बंद हो जाए तो ऐसे आवाज आ रही है? कैमरा बंद करो। आशिमा, ऐसे आवाज आ रही है मेरी?
बहुत ही कम आ रही है आज ये। कैमरा बंद करके एक बारी ट्राई कीजिए।
जी, अब सही आ रही है?
इज इट बेटर? इंटरप्रेटर्स, इज इट बेटर? यास्मीन कुछ बोलिए प्लीज।
Hello, my name is Yasmin Ali.
यस, ऐसे ठीक है। प्लीज कंटिन्यू, थैंक यू।
Okay, okay. Good day to all my comrades from around the world. My name is Yasmin Ali Shah from Pakistan. I am honored to join this important dialogue with fisherwomen from Asia, Africa, Latin America, Europe, and beyond through the global platform of the World Forum of Fisher People. Today I speak on behalf of fisherwomen from Pakistan, coastal and inland fishing communities. Across our fishing villages, women are the visible backbone of the fisheries economy. They dry fish under the sun, repair fishing nets, processes seafood, sell fish in local markets, and ensure food security for their families. Despite this enormous contribution, fisherwomen remain largely unrecognized in fisheries policies and governance. Their labor is rarely counted in official statistics, and their voices are rarely included in decision-making spaces. In Pakistan, fisherwomen are not only supporting their households, they are also defending their communities and ecosystems. Our movement is deeply inspired by the struggles of my parents, Muhammad Ali Shah and Tahira Ali Shah, who dedicated their lives to defending the rights of fisher people and empowering fisherwomen to become leaders in their own communities. Because of these struggles, many fisherwomen in Pakistan today are standing up to organize, speak publicly, and advocate for their own rights. However, fisherwomen in Pakistan are facing growing challenges. Climate change is severely affecting our coastal and inland fisheries. Sea intrusion is destroying agricultural land and freshwater lakes. Fish stocks are declining, and industrial fishing is threatening the survival of small scale fishing communities. These changes are not just environmental issues, they are social justice issues, and women are often the first to feel their impact. Despite these challenges, fisherwomen continue to organize at grassroots level through community initiatives and organizations like Noori Development Foundation, whose president I am. We are supporting women to build leadership, raise their voices, and participate in community decision-making processes. Women are not only workers in fisheries, they are guardians. They are guardians of traditional knowledge, protectors of ecosystems, and they are leaders of community resilience. But grassroots movements like ours often struggle with limited resources while confronting very large challenges. What fisherwomen need today is not charity, but recognition, solidarity, and support to strengthen community led solutions for sustainable fisheries and gender justice. Around the world, fisherwomen are defending our waters, our food systems, and our livelihoods. If we want to sustainable future for oceans, rivers, and coastal communities, then fisherwomen must be recognized as central actors in fisheries, governance, and environmental protection. On this occasion, we reaffirm our commitment to strengthening global solidarity among fisher people and building stronger leadership of women in small scale fisheries. Because when fisherwomen rise, communities become stronger, ecosystems are better protected, and future of our fisheries become more just and sustainable. So I'm very thankful to all of you. Solidarity to fisherwomen everywhere. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Yasmin, for your shares and value insight regarding the fishermen movements in the Pakistan. So I think I want to thank, I think this is all for these sessions. We already have 4 speakers in the sessions, and I want to thank all the speakers for sharing such powerful experiences from across the Asia countries. And what we hear from all the speakers, despite the differences in the geography and the context, we can see several shared realities across the regions, particularly in the Asian countries. Women liberties remain the essential, but systematically they are still undervalued. The coastal community also getting so much challenges and crises, whether it is a climate crisis, the intimidation from the government, the development pressures, and the research depletions, and so on. And also, from our speakers, they also highlights about the fishermen are not only the passive victims, but they are also the organizers. They are also the leaders, the defenders of their territories, and also the food system itself. So these voices actually remind us that any conversations about the sustainable fisheries, oceans governance, or even climate justice must center the knowledge of the fishermen itself. So once again, I want to thank all the speakers in the sessions, and I think we can move to the next session. So I will give it back towards the Nadine, sorry, towards Nadine. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Nibras, for assisting in that section. It was beautiful to hear the voices from Asia. We are not finished though. Please let me welcome Ashima, who will wrap up this section from Asia and do a presentation. Ashima.
Thank you, Nadine. I will not take very long, but the mention of the Global Fisherwomen Assembly in August last year, and then WFFP taking the lead in declaring the International Fisherwomen's Day as 5th of November. It was a day that was celebrated all over the world. It was a day that was marked and recognized. And we want to just share a few photographs. I must say that there could be many more that are coming. We are still gathering the photographs and the reports from different parts of the world. But this is just to give you all a glimpse of what all had happened. And also, this was the start of the 5 weeks campaign. So just a few images for all of you to take a look at. The reports of different parts of this documentation will be available on the WFFP website. Soon enough, we will be putting up everything there. But this is just a minute of photographs. So there are multiple photographs from different parts of the world and the fantastic interventions that have happened. Yes, the fisherwomen's movement and this lead that has been taken has really we've been able to mobilize all over the globe. Oh, sorry, just a second. You're not able to see my screen.
No, Ashima.
Just a second. Can you see it now?
Yeah, it's coming.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, here you go. I hope it's visible now.
Yes.
Yes. So this is just a glimpse of images
Sri
and the
Lanka.
power that everyone has shown.
Kerala.
I'm sure all of you can recognize the
Maharashtra.
different spaces. Yes.
Good, good.
Congo, that's Thailand. We also were able to release interviews of 5 fisherwomen leaders, and those are also up on the website. I urge you all to take a look at that, and I think it should be a process that we should continue. So just mentioning those, of course, Solene Smith, who's no longer with us, but a guiding light always. Vedavali from India. Purnima ji, who's very much here with us. I hope she's able to join today in the meeting as well. She's from Maharashtra, India. Christiana, who's there with us, has done a fantastic video. And of course, Josana, who's also there today. There's a declaration that we all had read out on this in order to mark this important day, and the WFFP had released this, all the leaders. This will all be up online, but yes, just to say that I think a big, I would say a big mark of solidarity all over the globe. Something like this has been received very well. There is a lot of documentation from the last, in fact, the last 2 years of WFFP's interventions, various webinars, the entire Fisherwomen's Day, the 5 weeks campaign, very decentralized initiatives, and a lot of the reports will be up online. I won't take more time now. Thank you very much, and I hope you all enjoyed looking at the photographs. Nadine, over to you. Thank you.
Yes. Wow. Thank you, Ashima. We look forward to sourcing those information online. We'll share that with all members very soon. Wonderful. So now we leave Asia and we're going to move to Africa. And Christiana, are you still here? My dear Christiana. Yes, wonderful, Christiana. You have the privilege of facilitating the Africa region, and we have 5 speakers. Caroline from Uganda, Mariami from Senegal, Julia from Congo, Khadija from Tanzania, and we'll ask Leah if she can speak, between you and Leah, to speak finally on the International Fisherwomen's Day. So let's go, Christiana.
Thank you very much, Nadine. Am I audible? Can
Yes,
you hear
you
me?
are. Yes, we are hearing you, and we want to see all of you, my dear.
Thank you.
Raise your
now, in this
lower
session,
your phone.
pardon? In this session, we are going to explore access to fisheries resources and gender justice in governance. And the other area we are going to look into is to discuss resistance to industrial fishing and threats from coastal disposition. The third issue that we are going to look into today is to showcase leadership in African fisher women in community mobilization. So these are the areas that we are going to deal with today. And my ladies, we have only 20 minutes. Let us manage our time well. So the speakers, as you heard, are Makahunde from Uganda, Ndoye from Senegal, Khadija from Tanzania, Leah from Kenya. I didn't get the name from Congo. There is a lady
Congo
from
is the
Congo.
beautiful Julia. Julia is online and she will speak for Congo.
Okay, Julia, Congo. So let us get started, ladies. 5 minutes each. The first one to take the floor will be Nakahunde from Uganda. Please take on. Nakahunde.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone can hear me right. I'm called Murata Nakahunde from Uganda. And I'm so grateful to be part of the global meeting today. And I'm so honored. So I'm here to raise a voice for the voiceless women in Uganda who are taking part in the fishing business at the lakes around the lakes in Uganda. All the voice I'm raising will be about the fisher women taking the lead to defend waters, territories, labor, and survival of their families and communities. So, in Uganda, we are facing a challenge of women. Like they are seen like women as invisible fishers. Women are not recognized in Uganda at all. The only people that are recognized in Uganda are the fishermen at all the lakes. But when it comes to the fisher women, they are not recognized at all, whereby it is expected that the common perception that existing gender division of labor in the lakes, dependent fishing communities in such that fishing production activities are generally carried out by men. And while the women always take part in the marketing and the fish processing. And so this always let down the women because they don't always get the profits that they're supposed to get since they're not allowed to fish due to the cultural and traditional norms. So they are not always allowed to fish. So it's only the men who are recognized when it comes to fishing. So at the end of it all, when we come to the purchasing of fish, women come in later. Women always come in later in the processing of fish and marketing. So, and at times we find that if you ask women, if you don't have friends at the lake, or if you don't have a lover at the lake, or someone you know, then there won't be supply of fish to you. And at times when fish is supplied to you, then it will always be sold at, like the purchases are always high. So at the end of it all, when you're selling to other people, then the profits are very less than expected. Then when we come to the government, the government neglect is much because the government itself always sees the fishermen as the participants and beneficiaries. So in case of any opportunities or any chance, maybe you want to look anything from the government or what, there is no voice for the women. No one is there to stand for the women. Like there is no that voice for the women to stand for them in the government, because the government itself always take the fishermen as the beneficiaries. So in case of any chance or lobbying, it all comes to the men, not women. Women are always left out. At the end of it all, it's the men who are developing, not the women. So when like another issue is providers in the fisheries. Women in Uganda, like many other women in other countries, have been overlooked more in the fishery sector than in any other sectors. So it has been traditional and cultural considered that women work in post-harvest sector while men supply fish through capture fishing and aquaculture. So in Uganda, women are always overlooked. So it's only men who are seen as those who can go to the lakes, fish, and at the end of the day, that the same people who are supplying the fish to the women. So women don't always go to the lakes as our culture in Uganda. Like they always go, but they're not allowed to fish on water. And so this is always letting them down. It really lets them down because at the end of the day, even if you have a boat, you have to get workers to work for you. And at times, we find out that these same workers, they steal us. They always steal us. Yeah, however, the full contribution of women to the fishing sector is greater than the simple binary division. Much of the women's contribution to the capture fisheries are not recognized, including maintenance of fish gear and support of fishermen in the work, as well as processing the market of fish. So when we look at another issue is women's access to the fisheries resources. Women are not entitled to fishing due to cultural and traditional norms. They face a challenge of high purchase while buying. At times they completely fail to gather fish. Yeah, so there is another issue of women's access to land and fishing handling, processing, and marketing. In Uganda, women are really facing that challenge. Women are facing a challenge of space. They don't have space, whereby they're supposed to carry out all these processes, handling, storage, and everything. You find that someone has purchased fish from the fishermen, but this same person has no space why she will keep that fish after drying or smoking. We don't have space. Like all the territories that we had, they are washed away. They're washed away by the floods. So there is no more space in Uganda. So women are really facing this challenge. So there is another challenge of women's access to institutional credits and loans. While other people are able to get loans, like for example, men in the fishing sector, women are not entitled to getting the loans. Reason being, we women, we lack collaterals that are required by the institutions, for example, the banks. So at times maybe they want maybe land. You have you're given a bigger land for you to be given money, and of which we don't have that land. We don't have all those collaterals that are required to satisfy the condition of the financial institutions. So at the end of it all, it's only men who are entitled to these loans. And then another thing is women's participation in adoption of climate change measures. This caused a loss of existing handling, processing, and storage facilities. As I told you, all the facilities were washed away. We had space whereby we dry our fish, do everything, the processing, everything. We handle every process from there. But right now, all those facilities were washed away. And sometimes this also causes due to the water changes in the terms of low and higher temperatures. And finally, now the small-scale fisheries have become increasingly commercialized and cash-oriented. The role, duties, and contributions of women have significantly expanded, yet there's still discrimination. Yeah. So That is all what I can say because I see my family collapsed. All in all, I thank you all for this opportunity given to me, and we shall keep put in effort to see that all these challenges are no longer faced by the women. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Nakahunde from Uganda. Now we give the space to Ndoye from Senegal. Are you there, Ndoye?
Ça va? Bonjour, je me nomme, bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je me nomme Mariam Ndoye, membre de la CNPS. Et je viens de Barni, une ville de pêcheurs située à environ 35 km de Dakar au Sénégal. Barni est aujourd'hui l'un des zones côtières les plus vulnérables face au changement climatique. Mais la crise que vivent nos communautés ne s'explique pas seulement par le climat. Elle est aussi la conséquence directe des décisions politiques et économiques qui mettent en danger la société. La communauté des pêcheurs artisanaux. Depuis plusieurs années, notre ville subit l'implantation d'usines polluantes, notamment une cimenterie et une centrale à charbon installée à moins de 500 mètres du site de transformation des femmes, du site des femmes de transformation. Cette proximité menace notre santé, notre environnement et nos activités économiques. Dans le même temps, les régions côtières détruisent nos territoires, des maisons, des lieux de culte et des infrastructures communautaires étaient engloutis par la mer. Entre 1997 à 2024, Barni a perdu plus de 144 mètres de côte. Des familles entières ont été déplacées et vivent aujourd'hui dans des conditions très difficiles. Pourtant, près de 70% de l'économie locale dépend de la pêche artisanale et à des activités qui sont liées. Et les femmes jouent un rôle central dans l'économie. Elles transforment, commercialisent et valorisent les poissons grâce à ce travail. Elles assurent la scolarité des enfants, la nourriture des familles et les soins de santé. Mais aujourd'hui, cette économie vitale est gravement menacée. Les ressources halieutiques se raréfient à cause de plusieurs facteurs. Le changement climatique, la surexploitation par les flottes industrielles, sous-étrangères et le développement des usines de farine et d'huile de poisson, qui détruit la qualité d'énormes poissons destinés à l'alimentation humaine. Autrefois, nos pêcheurs pouvaient trouver du poisson à moins de 500 mètres du virage. Aujourd'hui, ils doivent parcourir des dizaines de kilomètres en mer sans garantie de capture. Face à cette situation, certains pêcheurs sont contraints d'aller pêcher dans les autres pays voisins, ce qui provoque parfois des tensions et trop de jeunes ne voyaient plus leur avenir, leur communauté prenait la route dangereuse de l'immigration irrégulière. Les femmes de la pêche artisanale sont en première ligne de cette crise. Elles subissent les impacts du changement climatique, de la pollution industrielle et de la surexploitation de nos ressources marines. Mais aujourd'hui, à l'occasion de la Journée internationale de la femme, nous voulons aussi parler que les femmes ne sont pas seulement des victimes, elles sont des actrices essentielles de la défense de la pêche artisanale et de la souveraineté alimentaire et de la protection des océans. Nous appelons les gouvernements et les institutions internationales à reconnaître et protéger la pêche artisanale, à mettre fin à la surexploitation industrielle des ressources marines et à soutenir réellement les femmes qui font vivre l'économie côtière. Protéger les femmes de la pêche artisanale, c'est protéger l'alimentation des peuples, la justice sociale et l'avenir de nos océans. Je vous remercie.
I don't know if Christiana fell out the call, but I will go ahead and call on Julia while we locate Christiana. Julia, for the sake of time, please go ahead.
Merci. Comme vous le savez, je suis Julia Pembe, la présidente du réseau national des femmes marieuses et transformatrices de produits halieutiques au Congo. Donc, je vais parler un peu des difficultés des femmes de la pêche artisanale en République du Congo. J'aimerais rappeler ici que le Congo est un pays qui est caractérisé par un fort potentiel halieutique, par ses rivières et ses fleuves poissonneuses, parce que nous, notamment, le bassin du Congo, c'est une zone qui a un potentiel hydraulique est très, très riche. Et donc, nous, notre potentiel halieutique repose sur trois grandes richesses, qui est la pêche maritime. Nous avons la pêche continentale et aussi l'aquaculture qui se développe de façon timide. Et cependant, donc, nous avons quand même des difficultés qui ne permettent pas de bien exploiter ces potentiels parce que cette activité manque d'un regard des politiques. Parce que nous avons eu la malchance d'avoir un pays dont l'économie est basée sur le pétrole. Et donc, les décideurs, ils ont plus de regard sur le pétrole que sur la pêche qui est considérée vraiment comme une activité secondaire. Donc, la pêche maritime qui représente plus de la moitié de la production halieutique nationale. Elle est pratiquée, elle se concentre principalement dans les départements de Pointe-Noire et du Kwilu, les seuls à avoir une façade maritime sur l'océan Atlantique. Et donc, les femmes que je représente aujourd'hui, et comme dans la plupart des pays africains, dans la pêche artisanale, les femmes travaillent principalement dans le secteur post-capture. Parce que chez nous, d'abord, surtout au niveau de la pêche artisanale, les femmes ne sont pas autorisées à aller pêcher. Donc, les femmes ne font pas la capture, mais elles sont spécialisées dans les activités post-capture notamment, donc la transformation, la commercialisation, nous sommes dans la distribution, le mariage. Donc pour la transformation que nous faisons, nous avons le fumage, le salage et le séchage. Mais comme je l'ai dit tantôt, ce secteur est confronté à beaucoup de difficultés. Donc, parmi ces difficultés, nous avons la pression des activités industrielles sur la pêche artisanale. Parce que je l'ai dit que nous avons une économie qui est basée principalement sur le pétrole. Et lorsque nous exploitons la ressource halieutique, surtout au niveau de la mer. Déjà que nous n'avons que 150 kilomètres de côte, et sur ces 150 kilomètres de côte, la superposition des activités cause problème. Parce qu'il y a un accent qui est marqué sur les activités industrielles. Donc, si bien que la pêche artisanale occupe très peu de place. Parce que, entre autres, il y a les bases et logistiques des sociétés pétrolières. Il y a également les plateformes pétrolières en mer et il y a la pêche industrielle aussi. Il y a également l'industrie hôtelière qui occupe presque tout le littoral et bien entendu d'autres activités, surtout le transport maritime et autres. Et donc, la pêche artisanale est confrontée vraiment à des difficultés déjà au niveau des zones de pêche et même sur le littoral, il nous manque des espaces de travail, notamment les débarcadères aménagés, et il y en a très peu. Pour nous qui sommes à Pointe-Noire, on a un seul débarcadère qu'on peut appeler aménagé, mais qui ne répond pas vraiment aux besoins parce que les conditions ne sont pas vraiment, c'est juste un hangar qui a été construit avec l'aide de la coopération japonaise et il n'y a pas des infrastructures de traitement de poissons. Donc, tout cela limite donc, le travail des pêcheurs artisans en général et principalement les activités des femmes qui manquent de sites de transformation et de traitement. Chez nous, par exemple, quand nous avons acheté le poisson pour le traitement, on se débrouille chacune à sa manière. Tu amènes le poisson chez toi et dans les conditions que vous ne pouvez imaginer, on se débrouille avec. Et à côté de cela, donc, il y a la faible priorité accordée au secteur de la pêche, comme je l'ai dit, puisque l'économie, l'importance est beaucoup plus accordée sur les activités industrielles. Et donc, au niveau de la pêche, il y a de moins en moins des investissements publics. On peut même dire qu'on n'a pas d'investissement public et il manque d'infrastructures, des sites de traitement, des sites de débarquement, il n'y en a presque pas. Et quand on regarde même dans le programme du gouvernement, il n'y a pas de programme spécifique pour la pêche artisanale. Il n'y en a pas. Et il y a également l'accès limité à la ressource. Vous voyez, mes prédécesseurs l'ont souligné, aujourd'hui, avec la diminution des stocks, on parle tantôt du changement climatique, mais il y a également l'effort de l'homme. Il y a la surpêche qui fait que la faiblesse de l'administration dans le contrôle fait que les industriels, ils violent même la zone de pêche réservée à la pêche artisanale. Donc, la zone de reproduction est violée par les navires, ce qui fait que les poissons n'ont plus des habitats naturels pour se reproduire et la ressource se raréfie de plus en plus. Et les pêcheurs qui pouvaient pêcher dans les 6000 miles aujourd'hui sont obligés parfois d'aller au-delà. Très souvent, nos pêcheurs sont arraisonnés dans des pays frontaliers comme le Gabon et l'Angola parce qu'ils vont très loin et parfois ils perdent le repère. Et ce qui fait que l'accès à la ressource devient très, très difficile. Et il y a la concurrence également des industries. Des industries, nous avons eu la malchance d'accepter, bon, les dirigeants, ils ont accepté l'installation des usines de production des farines de poisson et d'extraction d'huile de poisson, ce qui a vraiment accentué la rareté de la ressource parce que c'est des usines qui consomment beaucoup de poissons et ils utilisent les poissons que la population consomme. Les poissons comme la sardinelle, c'est une espèce qui est à la portée de toutes les bourses, normalement, qui nourrit les populations, mais c'est cette espèce-là que les industriels utilisent pour la fabrication des farines de poissons et ça a consommé presque tous les stocks. Nous constatons, on n'a pas mené des études, nous, on n'a pas les moyens de mener des études, mais nous constatons à vue d'œil que les espèces que nous voyons hier, il n'y en a plus. Et donc, les femmes travaillent souvent dans des conditions très, très, très pénibles. À côté de cela, donc, la difficulté des conditions de travail, nous avons des des techniques de transformation qui sont très rudimentaires et qui nécessitent normalement d'être améliorées. Mais comme je l'ai dit tantôt, il n'y a pas vraiment un regard du gouvernement. Et donc, il n'y a pas de programme pour l'amélioration des conditions de travail, que ce soit les conditions de transformation, des traitements. Il y a les manques vraiment des infrastructures aménagées. Donc, les techniques que nous utilisons aujourd'hui, les femmes sont exposées à beaucoup de maladies, les maladies lombaires, les maux des yeux, les brûlures, parce que nous utilisons des fumoirs qui sont conçus de telle sorte que si tu ne fais pas attention, eh bien, tu te brûles facilement, tu te blesses facilement. Et il y a également le manque d'infrastructures et d'équipements, comme nous l'avons souligné en amont. Il manque donc des chambres froides. Très souvent, on a un problème de conservation lorsqu'il y a des invendus, on ne sait pas comment conserver. Le transport, c'est un problème. Je l'ai dit que nous, lorsque nous achetons le poisson, les femmes, ils doivent aller transformer très, très, très loin. Parce que déjà, en agglomération, il y a aussi le problème avec le voisinage. Donc, il faut aller dans des quartiers très loin et les conditions de transport laissent à désirer, vraiment. Et il n'y a pas donc de site pour ces activités-là. Il y a l'accès limité au financement. Chez nous, les banques traditionnelles n'accordent pas. Bon, les crédits, c'est ouvert à tous. Mais sauf que les banques traditionnelles donnent des crédits avec des conditions qui n'arrangent pas les femmes. C'est des conditions standards qui ne peuvent pas permettre aux femmes de s'en sortir et ne peuvent même pas s'engager à prendre de tels crédits parce que les conditions déjà qu'on pose pour prendre un crédit avec, il faut présenter des garanties que les femmes n'ont pas. Il n'y a pas des banques agricoles ou des micro-crédits qui peuvent accompagner les femmes dans l'exercice de leurs activités. Et donc, aujourd'hui, surtout depuis d'abord la crise de la COVID-19, beaucoup de femmes n'ont plus de capital aujourd'hui pour fonctionner parce qu'en cette période-là, la charge des ménages s'est reposée sur les femmes qui se débrouillaient parce que les maris étaient dans la maison et les enfants ne partaient pas à l'école, la charge s'est doublée. Et du coup, on a perdu le capital et les femmes, pour la plupart, n'ont pas de capital, mais n'ont aucun accompagnement financier pour lancer leurs activités. Donc, ça limite vraiment leur capacité de développement. Il y a la faible participation des instances. Comme dans la plupart des pays africains, la femme était toujours considérée comme ne peut pas prendre la parole en assemblée. Donc, même pour mettre notre réseau national en place, pour mettre le réseau des femmes, nous avons connu beaucoup de difficultés parce qu'en même temps, le gouvernement ne nous permettait pas et aussi les pêcheurs hommes ne permettaient pas parce qu'ils veulent toujours que la femme soit sous l'homme. Donc, on n'acceptait pas que les femmes aient une organisation spécialement pour les femmes et où elles peuvent s'exprimer. Et donc, dans la plupart des cas, elles sont exclues des discussions. Même dans les échanges parfois avec l'administration, la pêche artisanale et l'administration, les femmes ne sont pas là, ne sont pas conviées. Les femmes ne sont pas conviées parce qu'on dit qu'elles doivent attendre le compte rendu des hommes. Donc, il y a la vulnérabilité, les violences et l'exploitation. Parce que certaines femmes subissent des pressions, des abus. Parfois, il y a ce phénomène-là, sexe contre poisson. Le poisson que moi, j'achète avec mon argent, mais même pour en avoir, eh bien, on te pose des conditions parfois qui ne sont même pas dignes, qui ne sont même pas dignes. Des chantages, si tu ne fais pas ci, tu n'auras pas le poisson. Bon, il y a des femmes qui, pour chercher à avoir quelque chose à vendre, parfois se donnent à ces pratiques-là, malheureusement. Donc, il y a également la charge du travail et les responsabilités familiales. Vous savez, chez nous, dans la plupart des pays africains, la femme, lorsque les choses vont bien chez les enfants sont brillants à l'école ou les enfants s'en sortent, ce sont les enfants des papas. C'est le papa qui est félicité. Mais lorsqu'il y a des ratés, quand quelque chose ne va pas, eh bien, c'est la maman qui a raté l'éducation des enfants. Et donc, à côté de la charge de son travail, elle doit également concilier cela avec les responsabilités familiales. Donc, la gestion du foyer, l'éducation des enfants, concilier avec les activités économiques, parfois, ça cause problème et les femmes doivent faire avec. Même tout le travail qu'ils fournissent, très souvent dans nos ménages, les belles familles disent elles ne travaillent pas parce qu'on considère la femme qui travaille, celle qui va au bureau, et celle qui travaille dans un bureau. Mais la femme de la pêche qui se lève tôt le matin et ramène à la maison l'argent et le poisson, souvent on dit elle ne travaille pas. Donc, elle n'est pas respectée au même niveau que la femme qui travaille dans un bureau administratif. Et cela parfois cause des frustrations, le manque de confiance en soi, mais ce sont des défis que les femmes doivent faire avec. Malheureusement, on vit au quotidien avec cela. Et quand on prend tous ces défis-là, nous avons donc la faible rentabilité des activités parce que parfois, on n'arrive pas à s'en sortir. Il y a la précarité économique, il y a le manque de reconnaissance de leur contribution. Vous voyez un peu une femme qui tous les jours se bat, qui ramène de quoi manger à la maison parce que lorsque nous vendons des poissons comme ça, on ramène toujours du poisson à la maison. On amène l'argent. Mais puisqu'on sait que tu n'as pas un bulletin de salaire, on ne reconnaît même pas ta contribution dans le foyer. Donc, c'est des conditions frustrantes, mais au-delà de ces difficultés, nous avons réussi quand même à mettre en place depuis 2018 notre réseau national des femmes marieuses et transformatrices de poissons. Et c'est en ce moment que nous avons commencé, on peut dire que ce n'est toujours pas ce que nous attendons, mais aujourd'hui, de façon timide, il y a des consultations auxquelles nous sommes impliqués. Il y a des décisions auxquelles nous sommes consultés et nous espérons que dans les années à venir, progressivement, nous allons atteindre l'objectif. Et aussi, nous espérons que l'adhésion que nous sommes en train de solliciter au WFFP nous permettra également de renforcer notre capacité de plaidoyer et de porter la voix des femmes au-delà des frontières du Congo. Nous espérons vraiment que nous adhérons au WFFP pour contribuer activement à la recherche des solutions aux difficultés que nous rencontrons. Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Julia, for that presentation. You could have just taken the whole show by yourself with all the details. We appreciate you and the information from Congo. Can I jump to the Latin America and Caribbean region? We are running out of time and our interpreters will leave us soon. We have 20 minutes to go. We have 4 speakers from LAC. I'll just go, Josana, if you're here, please, you have 3 minutes to just give us a beautiful presentation about COP 2025 in 3 minutes, and then we share details later with members. Go ahead, Josana.
Olá, eu estou tentando aqui, na medida do possível, que essa minha internet hoje não está muito legal. Mas, assim, trazendo uma breve partilha sobre a participação do movimento e principalmente de mulheres pescadoras durante a COP30. Então, dizer que foi um momento assim de muita experiência, foi um momento muito rico. Foi um momento que nós tivemos em muitos espaços que colocamos a nossa ansiedade, colocamos os diversos fatores que nos atingem, como a cassinicultura nos territórios e maritórios, colocamos sobre o machismo que tem criminalizado os nossos espaços, os nossos corpos, as nossas mentes, que têm violado as nossas famílias. Colocamos também sobre como estarmos cada vez mais empoderadas nesses espaços de fortalecimento, de debate, como mulheres empoderadas e como questionar cada vez mais os nossos direitos perante a sociedade. Não apenas a sociedade no Brasil, não apenas somente o governo brasileiro, mas perante todas as representações que estiveram presentes na COP30. Então, um dos grandes espaços assim, muito voltado para a sociedade civil, onde os movimentos estivemos, onde nós mulheres estivemos presentes e trazendo falas de empoderamentos em vários espaços, foi na Cúpula dos Povos. Então, essa participação do WFFP, do Movimento dos Pescadores, juntamente com as outras organizações que compõem o Fórum Mundial dos Povos Pescadores, que estivemos na COP30, foi assim um momento foi um momento muito rico, um momento de muito aprendizado, mas também de muita troca de experiências. Foi um momento onde nós ensinamos, mas também nós aprendemos. Foi um momento onde nós trouxemos, junto dos da nossa bagagem, os diversos desafios trazendo dos nossos territórios e da nossa categoria como pescadoras artesanais. Foi um momento de muita disputa, mas também um momento de dizer para o governo do Brasil que nós não aceitamos mais que os nossos territórios, que os nossos maretórios, que a nossa casa seja vendida sem a nossa consulta. Nós não aceitamos mais que se venda os nossos bens comuns sem antes ter uma consulta livre, prévia, informada, presencial e de boa fé. Essa consulta onde quem tem que dizer o tempo, a hora e o local somos nós. Essa consulta que cabe aos pescadores, às pescadoras, às mulheres pescadoras artesanais dizer o quanto que significa o bem comum, o bem da natureza. E os bens da natureza não é para ser comércio, não é para ser comercializado, é para serem respeitado e respeitado perante todas as constituições. Principalmente que os governos também obedeçam e cumpram, principalmente o governo do Brasil, respeitando a Convenção 169, do qual o Brasil é signatário, então que siga esse modelo de compromisso, que siga esse modelo de consulta, e para que nossos territórios e para que nossas filhas, nossos filhos não sejam violados pelo avanço do grande processo de progresso, que eles chamam de progresso, o que eles chamam de progresso, trazendo para o nosso território, na verdade, tem sido o processo de retrocesso, de retirada de direitos, de marginalização, de criminalização e de prostituição de muitas famílias. Então, que esse modelo ele não seja repetido, que essas consultas, que essas COPs da vida, elas não sejam apenas um momento só de nos ouvir, mas que sejam um momento de consultar de fato e de respeitar o nosso posicionamento. Então, um pouco o que eu queria trazer de forma muito resumida e respeitando os companheiros intérpretes pelo horário. Meu muito obrigado. E que as mulheres da pesca não desistam nunca, porque a nossa luta ela é forte, ela é resistente e nós somos mulheres empoderadas e temos como permanecer nessa trincheira de luta, nenhum direito a menos.
Wonderful, Susanna. We appreciate that. I will now move to Marianelli, please. Marianelli, please speak.
Hola, ¿me escuchan bien?
Yes, go ahead.
Bueno, buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Gracias por la invitación y por el espacio. Creo que se nos ha dado 5 minutos y voy a tratar de ser lo más respetuosa con el tiempo. Primero un saludo a todas las mujeres que compartimos este espacio, que trabajamos, que habitamos, que sobrevivimos en los maritorios, en los acuatorios del planeta. Me han pedido que hable sobre los derechos territoriales y el papel de las mujeres en estos derechos y quisiera plantear algunos puntos que me parecen muy importantes para la reflexión. Creo que en estas épocas tenemos más que en otras épocas, más preguntas que respuestas y veo el desafío que tenemos hoy de cuidar, de acceder y de cuidar estos espacios donde vivimos, donde trabajamos. Creo que hoy es más importante que nunca, tiene una extremada importancia la defensa y el ejercicio de los derechos colectivos territoriales. En un marco de militarización en nuestra región, en el Pacífico, en un marco de presencia de economías criminales que permiten no solo la concesión, no solo los derechos de uso de los espacios y del ecosistema marino, sino el adueñamiento. El adueñamiento que hoy les da propiedad, ¿no es cierto? Una ocupación real, una propiedad, ya no solo unos derechos a usar, sino que les dan títulos, papeles de propiedad. Y eso cambia totalmente la relación de fuerzas. En el caso del Ecuador, desde 2008, el ecosistema manglar, el ecosistema manglar que está ocupado desde la década de los 70 por las piscinas dedicadas a la acuacultura del camarón, desde el año 2008, con un decreto presidencial, se empieza a regularizar, pero lo que en la práctica hasta la actualidad tenemos es que se entregan títulos de propiedad. Esto quiere decir que estos bienes comunes, ¿no es cierto?, a los que tiene derecho el mundo entero, en la práctica se están entregando a empresas privadas y muchas veces muy relacionadas, ¿no es cierto?, a economías criminales. Mientras se sigue, en el caso del Ecuador, a lo que se le reconoce a la organización, no a la comunidad, no al pueblo, sino a una organización, es un acuerdo de uso y de custodia. Es decir, el Estado, mientras reconoce un título de propiedad en este bien común a una industria criminal, a la comunidad le entrega un acuerdo de uso, o sea, le reconoce que siempre ha usado, y de custodia, es decir, para que cuide. Lo que hace es pasar la responsabilidad del Estado, del Ministerio del Ambiente, a las organizaciones para que lo cuiden, para que para que lo usen, ¿no es cierto? Pero que finalmente estos acuerdos no son derechos que se reconoce, para que cuiden lo que va a entrar es en mercados de carbono. Entonces, y en medio de esto, la amenaza de guerra, la amenaza de la intervención en nombre de la criminalidad, ¿no es cierto?, nos pone en situaciones distintas. Pero quiero también dejar planteado que, por otra parte, el gobierno colombiano, entre marzo, el Estado colombiano, entre marzo y abril del 2025, a través de la Corte Constitucional, emite una sentencia, la sentencia T-105, y le dice a la Agencia Nacional de Tierras que debe titular colectivamente ecosistema manglar y bajamar en una extensión de 17.000 hectáreas a comunidades afrodescendientes, reconociendo su uso ancestral y poniendo la prelación por encima del derecho colectivo, del uso de ser un bien nacional de uso público, ¿sí? Por encima de este decreto de ser un bien nacional de uso público, pone el derecho ancestral de los pueblos afros del Pacífico colombiano. Este me parece que es una herramienta muy poderosa, muy importante, que desde Ecuador la hemos venido demandando desde el año 2007, cuando el proceso de la SECONDEM y sus comunidades recolectoras y pescadoras se autodefinen como pueblos ancestrales del ecosistema manglar y del ecosistema marino, ¿no? En el Ecuador no lo hemos logrado, se dan estos acuerdos de los que comenté, pero en Colombia el pueblo afro, a través que además tienen la ley 70, una ley conquistada hace varias décadas, pero el pueblo de pescadores y de recolectores del Pacífico colombiano logra esta sentencia de la Corte Constitucional, que me parece muy importante tomarlo en cuenta para nuestro proceso a nivel global, a nivel regional. No quiero extenderme mucho porque creo que todas tenemos el derecho a la palabra. Y lo que sí quisiera decir es que este adueñamiento de los maritorios, de los territorios, se traduce también en un adueñamiento de nuestro trabajo, de nuestros alimentos, de nuestro cuerpo. Y eso lo tenemos que tener claro al momento de demandar, no solamente en abstracto, ¿no es cierto?, un derecho colectivo sobre el maritorio, sino en concreto cómo esto se hace real en nuestras vidas. ¿Qué nos queda? ¿Cómo enfrentar eso? Creo que es muy difícil, momentos difíciles para el planeta. Sin embargo, creo que las mujeres pescadoras que estamos agrupadas y encontrándonos aquí, tenemos el reto de ser un abrazo global que nos arraigue y que nos aferre a la vida. Muchas gracias.
Yes, this was right on target. Thank you. Thank you. We really appreciate that very much. We will have to make an adjustment, and I must apologize to both our presenters and our interpreters, but we are going to come to a conclusion now. But before we do, we have our last speaker, Annie Lini from Palestine, and Annelene, I will ask you to be brief in 5 minutes, and after you, we're going to ask Melanie to close off this session, and we are going to speak to you on how we continue the dialogue with those who have not spoken. Khadija, Leah, Sharice, Melanie, Esther, and Nicola. We are going to ask Maira and Esther, our communications people, to reach out to you to make videos for the social media. Thank you, Anneli.
Thank you, Nadine, and thank you all, actually, and apologies for taking someone else's time, because as earlier said, everybody has the right to speak, so apologies for that. I actually had prepared something longer. I wanted to share a story of Halima, who's a fisherwoman in Gaza, and her experience was going to demonstrate the intersection of gender, food sovereignty, and structural violence. And I won't come to that. I also want to just say how I felt, how everybody has spoken so far, how similar the struggles are that we are all facing. And what I want to highlight from that is that for Gaza, the struggle is already in a much later and deeper phase, because it's about genocide or survival at this moment. And when we speak about fishers in Gaza, we often actually imagine only men. But this is something that many women actually play a role in the fishing economy in Gaza. And this invisibility of women is really reflecting a broader pattern in food systems worldwide. It's often unrecognized. In Gaza's fishing communities, women play an active role. They clean and preserve fish, sell seafood, prepare food, etc. And of course, within the household, women also manage the food distribution. And this has become a very critical aspect of the genocide that they are experiencing. Of course, the Gaza fishing sector has faced decades of severe restrictions. And these restrictions are deeply connected to the idea of food sovereignty, because their right to food sovereignty has been systematically undermined. Fishing was one of the ways that they could produce food locally without relying entirely on imports. But access to the sea has been restricted, infrastructure has been destroyed, and communities did not only lose income, but they also lost a source of food. As it is, more than 95% of Gaza's fishery sectors has been destroyed. And the fishing activities have largely collapsed. So this really represents a loss of both livelihoods and identity very much. And women have really experienced this disruption in very specific ways, because when fishing income disappears, it's women who must find ways to feed their household members. Often they resort to reducing their own food intake, or they rely on inferior foods, or they attempt to create small informal sources of income. This dynamic also can be described as the feminization of survival, where women absorb the economic and social shocks of crisis through unpaid labor and personal sacrifices. So they're often at the forefront of coping, and they're managing. And actually in Gaza, despite the extreme humiliation, the hunger and famine they have been facing, and the real-time horror that's still ongoing, women in Gaza have also demonstrated incredible spirit and solidarity, in which they come together and have been able to set up small cooperatives or community initiatives to process and distribute food, and also informal networks to share resources and maintain levels of solidarity and dignity. These everyday practices help sustain families and communities that are facing genocide. What I want to say with that is these actions are not just coping strategies. These are forms of resistance. And through them, women sustain their families, preserve food traditions, and maintain communities that support survival. Women have become resistance fighters by carrying out daily tasks, trying to maintain dignity, and doing so for a very prolonged period of horror, more than 2.5 years now. This is particularly important to share, I think, because the experiences of women in Gaza's fishing community reminds us, I think, that food justice cannot be separated from gender justice or political justice. And food sovereignty cannot exist where people are denied access to land, water, or livelihoods. So women and their voices should always be included. And by shedding some light on the experiences of Gaza fisher women, we gain a deeper understanding of the social and economic consequences of occupation and genocide on the fisheries sector. And we can recognize the crucial role that women play in maintaining community survival and dignity. Because in all fairness, their struggle is not just about fishing. It's about the fundamental right to feed family, sustain livelihoods, and live with dignity and in freedom. We just need real urgent feminist transnational solidarity and international action to safeguard their culture, livelihoods, and existence before it will be fully erased and before it will be ethnically cleansed. They really demonstrate that they're rooted in the land of Palestine just as much as they are anchored in the sea, and they will remain. They're not going to give up. So in today's event, clearly nobody from Gaza can be present here today, but I would like to salute these women who remain steadfast and continue to sustain their families, their communities, and their traditions. They are fighting erasure one meal at a time. So on behalf of the Gaza fisher women, I really would like to thank you and free Palestine. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time. I know you had a busy schedule today to be here with us. Because of time, I'm going to ask Melanie to close us off. And again, apologies. We're going to ask communications team to do some clips of our missing speakers. And I repeat, Leah, Cherise, Melanie, Esther, and Nicola, please be on the lookout for a message this week. Go ahead, Melanie, please close us off.
Sure. Hi, I just shared a link in the chat. I would urge you to open that link. Today I was supposed to talk about ICARD, but now I'm leaping ahead to the closure of our time together. But I think it's worth looking at is a position paper that was drafted going into ICARD, which was put on by the International Planning Committee on Food Sovereignty. If you take a look at this paper, you're going to get a sense of the framing of the thinking and the wishes of the people who brought this position paper forward and help shape their thoughts and words going into the International Conference on Agrarian Reform and Rural Development. It's a really good example of naming what you want. If you name something, if you say it out loud, it's easier to tell it what to do. And this is that we need to carry forward, bold vision. And one of the things that I would really like to highlight from our time in Colombia at ICARD is one of the South African minister who spoke in the opening section of the conference. He, you know, on the heels of apartheid, there's a lot of transformation happening in South Africa, and the minister said that one of their objectives is to give women 50% of the land that's being returned to the people, because there is a recognition that women will take the best care of the land and make the most use of it while taking care of it. So to me, that is like such an affirming statement for women internationally to hear that and know that that is something that is being placed in their hands. Another thing I would like to highlight from ICARD, I know I'm supposed to be doing a closing statement, but the thing that I found so affirming is that all of the social movement constituencies came together in a really beautiful way and supported the refusal of the final declaration because of recognition around wording that would diminish the meaning and the rights of Indigenous peoples. And so that was a really affirming statement. But I hope that you're all finding ways to celebrate and affirm the strength of women and what women bring to fishing communities. And without women, fishing could not be possible. The men and everybody that goes out to fish need the support, the fabric, and the framework that women create to make all things possible. And so celebrate that, declare it to your partners and allies, and proliferate this kind of thinking during this International Month of Women, and remind people that fisher folk are essential as well. So in the interest of time, I'm going to leave it at that. And thank you, everybody, for all of your contributions and interventions. And thank you for everybody that makes it possible for us to do our work. All of our scholar activist friends, we couldn't do this without you. And all of the social movements that we've collaborated with as well. Thank you so much. And thank you, all of the women that make everything possible.
Cameras on for a screenshot. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you all. Thank you, interpreters. Cameras on for a screenshot, and we close in 1 minute.
Thank you. เชิญนะคะ
Cameras on. Mayra, can you please take some screenshots? I don't know how to arrange that I see all the pictures. Thank you, interpreters. Faye, thank you. We need to include you in the part 2.
No interpretation, no revolution.
Yay. Duda, you are amazing. Thank you. Please take screenshots. I'm not doing it. Please, someone take screenshots. We're going to close shortly. You all are amazing.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
That's very meaningful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Mkono tu ndio inaonekana.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye bye.
You can't even see my face. I know.
Ciao. Bye
It's
bye.
dark already.
Ciao ciao. See you next time. Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.
Ciao. Hi.
El doctor me ha prohibido que no coma calentar. Y a veces uno la realidad me comí un poquito de calentadito. Siento molestación en el estómago, como que siento que se me crece. Es que no puedo comer. Pero ya, yo me pongo y veo para allá, veo para acá, y nada, era pollito.